Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. D.va is getting another change over on the PTR. This time it's a buff to the defense matrix. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to all this, over the last week or so, D.va has got quite a few changes. So the first one that they put on the PTR was a significant nerf to the defense matrix. Basically, they brought it down to where you can only use it for 2 seconds, and then it would take 10 full seconds in order to recharge it. You could use it to kind of defend yourself a little bit, but it was almost useless for trying to actually defend your team. Like, you couldn't try to actually stand in front of your more squishy teammates and block the damage for them. And you can't just kind of stand there yourself, because even Roadhog would be better at that, because D.va's crit box is absolutely gigantic. So she gets destroyed out of that mech really fast when she's taking the fire and not using the defense matrix. So this was a significant nerf to her. And to kind of compensate for that lack of tanking ability, they gave her micro missiles. And the original version of it was actually pretty good. It definitely compensated for her lack of defensive capability, and it gave her a lot more offensive capability. But then they went and nerfed the micro missiles. So now she has really crappy kind of defense and really crappy offense. So she was in this really bad spot, and now they've gone ahead and they've responded to a lot of the concerns on the official Overwatch forums, and Jeff Goodman actually responded, so I'm going to read what he said. So this is Jeff Goodman, principal designer of Overwatch. He says, "Thanks for the comprehensive feedback. The missiles were just a bit too strong at their previous values, especially considering you can now fly and shoot at the same time. Even at the reduced value, they still pose a serious threat if you can land a majority of them on a single target, especially when used in combination with her weapons and flight. That said, there is another change coming to PTR soon, maybe tomorrow, that will help her out quite a bit. The defense matrix regeneration rate is increasing by 25%. This lets her generally use her defense matrix more often, while still keeping the new 2-second cap on a single use. If you get a chance, please try out this new change and let us know how she feels, both playing as her as well as against her. Ideally, she feels a lot less oppressive to fight against, but gains more flexibility in how often she can use it for both keeping herself alive as well as her teammates." Alright, so let me quickly address some of these things. So he talks about how she has this massive damage potential. That is simply just not true. Under the old micro missiles, yes. The new micro missiles, no. Now, something I really need to point out, and I want you guys to keep this in mind because it's kind of important, is that the micro missiles are a projectile-based attack, which means you have to aim in front of where the target is. You have to aim at where they're going to be, not where they currently are, because there's kind of a travel time to the micro missiles. However, D.va's left click, her primary attack, is hit scan, which means you have to aim where they are, not where they're going to be. So both of these attacks force you to aim in a different location. So the only way you're ever going to hit a target with both of them at the same time is if your target is an idiot and it just isn't moving at all. Or I guess if they're running straight towards you, you can also hit them. But the fact is that people are going to be moving a lot. They're going to be strafing left and right. So you either have to hit them with your left click or you hit them with the micro missiles. You don't get both. So going to be perfectly blunt here, it doesn't feel like Blizzard actually has a plan for what they're doing. It's like they're just throwing darts at a board, and whatever happens to come up, that's what they run with. Now, another big issue that I have with all of this is the fact that Blizzard keeps making it so that they have characters in the tank category who are more interested in doing damage than actually protecting their teammates. If you're gonna make a DPS character, then just make a DPS character, right? If you're gonna have a tank, then let it tank. I understand they have to do some amount of damage, but the amount of defensive capabilities that they have should generally exceed the amount of damage output that they have. Now, this most recent change is definitely a step in that correct direction. They're giving D.va a little bit more of her defensive ability back. So now, instead of having a 10-second recharge, it's now going to be about 7.5 to 8 seconds worth of recharge. So that's a little bit better. It's still not amazing, but it's definitely a little bit better. Another thing I would like to see with this defense matrix, I understand they want to keep it limited to 2 seconds so that you can't just turn it on and basically block all damage for 4 or 5 full seconds. I understand that. but what they think they should be doing is reducing that cooldown that you get after you activate Defense Matrix. So basically, when you turn it on and then you shut it off, you have 1 full second of cooldown before you can turn it on again. And the reason why they did this was because when they originally went to the meter system that she has, people were just turning it on and off, on and off, on and off instantly, and it would allow you to fully shut down an enemy team without ever really depleting your meter. So they added that cooldown. So now that it has the significantly reduced amount that you can use, I think they should reduce that cooldown as well. Not totally get rid of it, but probably reduce it down to like half a second or something like that. So you can turn it on for a little bit, shut it off, but then you can very quickly use it again if you need to. Because then you're giving the D.Va player a lot more options in using that defense matrix to actually defend the team. So rather than just using it for the full 2 seconds and then saying, oh, well, guess we'll use it again in, 8 seconds or so, what you could do is that D.Va player could then sit in front or near their team, and then they could use it for a little bit to defend the soldier who's off to the left. And then you can use it for a very little bit to defend the Pharaoh who's up and to the right. So it would give that D.Va player much more opportunity to make intelligent choices to actually use the defense matrix to block damage and protect their team. So what do you guys think about all this? Put your feedback down in the comment section. Also, don't forget to check out my Discord server and follow me on Twitter. The links for all that stuff are down below. Thanks for watching. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.